3 Virginia correction officers are in the hospital after what officials say was a coordinated stabbing by inmates connected to MS-13.
This comes as Democrats try to distance themselves from deported MS-13 suspect Kilmar Abrego Garcia after new audio from his wife detailing domestic violence allegations surfaces.
We're not vouching for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We are vouching for his constitutional rights.
I think our advocacy here has a little bit less to do with him individually and more the process and the fact, the lack of due process that this administration continues to act with.
Hey guys, the Democratic Party just hit rock bottom. Kristi Noem is calling them out, and guys, she's not holding back. This is one of the most disturbing examples yet of the left wrapping their arms around violent criminals while turning their backs on actual victims. This story is going to make your blood boil, but before we dive in, guys, I'm going to play a short clip of Kristi Noem laying it out on Fox & Friends Weekend. Then we're going to break it all down. But first, if you're sick of the media lies and politicians who care more about optics than your safety, hit that like button, guys, so that more patriots like you will see this video. Okay, check it out.
It's really kind of amazing when you step back and you look at, there was a time when this was like an actual controversial issue. I think it's now turned into like an 80-20 issue. But the idea that Democrats are now going out of their way to die on a hill defending a guy like this Garcia character, it's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it really is. The mainstream media, these congressmen, these senators, the Democrat Party wrapping their arms around a known human smuggler, a wife beater, a violent criminal that was finally held accountable for his actions. The fact that they went to the mat for this guy just shows exactly who they are, that they are people who don't put America first. They don't care about our citizens and protecting our communities. So I'm glad that the onion's been peeled back and that their true motivations have been revealed. And this is just one of the cases that we're getting off the streets. You know, since President Trump has been in office, we have removed thousands and thousands of violent criminals, and people are safer today.
So obviously, Democrats have come a long way from the time when they lectured all of us about believing all women. They seem to not be so interested in his wife's testimony, her statements about what he did to her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And repeatedly and over again. And the other people who witnessed it, those other people who witnessed these beatings and these abuses, too. And you listen to the emotion in her voice and the trauma. And then they backed up this guy and they fought for him. And they flew to El Salvador to stand with him and say, this is the kind of guy I want to be friends with and advocate for and throw our federal laws and throw the United States of America under the bus for. Boy, I tell you what, this is a new low for Senator Van Hollen, but for the Democratic Party and for the mainstream media that they perpetuated this. They started all of this and gave it a platform to gain momentum.
Yeah. For those who haven't heard that, I think it's important for people to listen because it's poignant. Listen.
He grabbed me from my hair and then he slapped me. And then the neighbor, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to react. I have pictures of the evidence, all the bruises, because even on Wednesday, he hit me around 3 in the morning. He would just wake up and hit me.
You know, Kristi, my husband was a prosecutor at one time, and he would have women who were beat up by their husbands who would give statements like this and then go into court and defend, end up defending the person who beat them up. Feels like that's where the Democrats are at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm concerned about. What she's saying today is she still scared? So many people and victims I've worked with over the years, they say one thing in public because they have to survive or to protect their children. So I wouldn't say that, what she's saying today is how she really feels. I think she could be in fear as well, and that's what happens. That's why one of the reasons that we opened the Voices office again over here in Homeland Security. The Voices office was established under the first Trump administration to be an advocate and a resource for people who were victims of alien crime, illegal aliens. And you know what? Biden closed it down. I think Elon talked last night on this network about cover-ups. This was one of the biggest cover-ups of illegal immigrant crime because Biden shut down this office so that these victims victims had nowhere to go to get help. It couldn't be documented. It couldn't be tracked. The data couldn't be go back and look at it to see how many victims there truly were. We reopened it again so that people like the angel moms and other victims have a resource to track where these court hearings are, when these illegals are in the country, when they're going to be released, and how they're held accountable. So you talk about cover-ups that Joe Biden facilitated. This one endangered Americans, and we're so thankful President Trump is back and taking care of the victims of these terrible crimes.
Well, here's another cover-up, Secretary. So we've been following very closely here on Fox and Fox Noticias the 300,000 children that went missing under Joe Biden's watch. You remember all the people crying about kids in cages, who also voted against getting DNA tests for these children to find out who are the adults who claim to be their aunts or uncles or parents. This past week in one of the cabinet meetings, RFK said this, and I thought it was one of the most remarkable moments of that cabinet meeting. Listen.
We have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, the 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration.
So our government was complicit in child labor, child sex trafficking. They knew what they were doing. They knew what was happening here, and they did it anyway. The Secretary of HHS now saying, I've shut this down. But what is Homeland Security or any other parts of the government doing to find these children who Donald Trump told me in Bedminster last summer he promised to do everything he could to locate them?
Absolutely. Yeah, Bobby's absolutely right. He's correct. They were facilitating putting children in unsafe homes and people who were trafficking them. The Biden administration went out there and didn't even vet these sponsors many times. And many children would go through a sponsor's home, and it could be someone who was using them to profit off of them, victimizing them over and over again. So the fact that he stopped that is absolutely wonderful. And we have, in Homeland Security and with their partnership as well, reunited over 5,000 children already with their appropriate family members and people who love them and will care for them. We're going to continue to work on that and continue to bring these children back home and then get them healing from what they've been through and the trauma that they've had. The Democratic Party facilitated and funded separating children from their families and victimizing them and trafficking them, and that has stopped under President Trump, and we're so grateful for his leadership.
So incredible.
Yes, indeed. Secretary Noem, real quick, I want to get your thoughts on Real ID. Deadline approaching this week on the 7th.
It is.
What's your information, your pitch to the viewers out there? There are some who are concerned about this. What do you want them to know?
Well, I want them to know it's a law that was passed 20 years ago that the Biden administration never implemented, and the May 7th is the date that was set by Congress. It has to be implemented by. 81% of travelers are already compliant with Real ID, and what they need to do is look at their license and see if it has a little star in the right-hand corner. If it does, they have a Real ID compliant passport. Bring a passport if you don't have that. But if you don't have a Real ID, then you may need to go through additional vetting or put in a different line, get a warning, just because we know that this is federal law, and it allows us to know who's on our federally regulated aircrafts, and it's a safety concern. And also for me, there's 19 states right now that issue driver's licenses to illegal aliens. If we make sure that they're Real ID compliant, it helps us get to election integrity as well. If we know that citizens and people that are here with legal status are the ones getting driver's licenses and using those IDs, oftentimes those are the same IDs that they have to use when they show up to vote as well. So it's a safety law that was put in place many years ago. We want everybody to be aware that when they get to the airport, to have that Real ID ready to go. But the good thing is 81% of Americans already have one, so we don't expect there to be inconveniences or waits at all. We're prepared for May 7th to get here.
Okay, guys, let me get this straight. Democrats are defending a man accused of domestic abuse, connected to MS-13, deported for good reason, and caught on audio with his wife describing her horrifying violence. And they're flying to El Salvador to stand with him. What happened to believe all women? What happened to protecting victims? Oh, right. It only matters if it serves the narrative. When the truth is politically inconvenient, guys, they bury it. Kristi Noem is absolutely right. This is a new low. These same Democrats who grandstand about human rights are now defending a human smuggler and domestic abuser. And it's not about due process. It's about agenda. Guys, that is the word. If anything could sum up what is going on here, it is agenda. They're turning monsters into martyrs because it fits their narrative of an open border, no consequences America. And while they're defending criminals, let's not forget what happens to our children. 300,000 guys, missing children under Biden's watch. Yes, that's right. 300,000 children. And guys, we have whistleblowers and cabinet officials saying that the Department of Health and Human Services, your tax-funded federal government, became a collaborator in child trafficking. That's not just failure, guys. That is evil. That is evil. The Biden administration handed children off to unvetted sponsors. They didn't track them. They didn't care. And now we're told to just move on? Absolutely not. What's even more outrageous is that the Voices office, which was created under President Trump to support victims of illegal alien crime, was shut down by Biden. Shut down. Why? Because it made them look bad. Because it exposed the cost of open borders. And once again, Democrats chose politics over people. Thankfully, Kristi Noem and President Trump are reopening that office, restoring law and order, and giving victims a voice again. It doesn't stop there. Kristi Noem also addressed Real ID, a law passed 20, guys, can you believe that? It was passed 20 years ago. The Biden administration refused to implement it. And why does that matter? Because 19 states are handing out driver's license. Did y'all catch that? 19 of the 50 states in the U.S. are handing out driver's license to illegal immigrants, licenses that are often used to vote. That's right. Those same state guys, 19 states are giving you driver's license that you can use to vote, even though you're not a citizen of this country. So if you care about election integrity, if you care about homeland security, guys, this is a no-brainer. But apparently for Democrats, securing elections, protecting citizens, that takes a back seat to welcoming chaos. This isn't just a political debate, guys. It's a moral one. This is a moral debate. Do we stand with victims? Or do we defend abusers? Do we protect our children? Or do we enable traffickers? Do we secure our borders? Or do we sell out our country to the highest bidder? Kristi Noem isn't afraid to call it what it is, and neither are we. Let me know what you think, guys. Are Democrats showing us their true priorities here? Can America recover from this level of betrayal? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, guys. I want to hear from you. And subscribe to stay updated with real conservative news that doesn't pull punches. And if you want to support this channel, guys, and help fight back against the media spin, become a member today. Together, we can stand for truth, justice, and the America we believe in. I appreciate everybody. I'll catch you later with another update.